Well, you guys asked for it. I said I would do it. So here's my kitchen. This is not a cooking show. So the setup is a little funky. Somebody made fun of my cabinets the last time I did this. And yes, my cabinets are very old. Give me a little bit of time. We have spiffed up the kitchen as much as we can, and we're trying to do it. You can see my light in the microwave, but we're going to be making penne vodka. So I have to make 1/2 tray of penne vodka and 2 half trays of fettuccine alfredo. So I'll do a separate video with the fettuccine alfredo, and I'll dump all these into my maybe this is what we're doing for two. I think we're doing this for 2 for Tuesday. So penne vodka. I don't make my own penne for this. I use a box. I use Barilla. It's readily available. Right now we've got a giant pan and boiling water. I am going to make all of the sauce at once for this, but I'm going to make the pasta one at a time because I don't have a giant pasta pot. So my water has just started boiling. I have my shallots. Look at that. Oh, I spilled them on my keyboard. There's some lovely shallots that are chopped up. We use the dead fish knives. So I'm going to show you my dead fish knife. Dead fish. It still has some shallot on it. I'm going to throw those in the sink. The ones that escaped, these are the ones that got away. So great. Now my whole keyboard's going to smell like shallot. So we have some shallots. We have Parmesan cheese. This is just store brand Parmesan cheese. When I make this at home, I use a higher grade of Parmesan cheese. If I can grate it myself, I will. When you buy, just so that you know, again, this is not a cooking show. This is not a cooking show. When you use the commercial grated cheese, there is anti-clumping components in there. So it's not just cheese, but this, I got to cook for a bunch of kids. So I'm going to do that. You'll notice I have no jewelry. I have my apron on, and I have my hair tied back. So I have butter. We're going to use a whole stick of butter. I do use salted butter. And we are going to dump that right in a cold pan because we're going to melt that down. Hop in there, buddy. Usually, I'm so worried about the camera right now. I'm not doing my best. So we're going to turn the butter on a low heat, and I'm going to go over and salt my pasta water. Hi guys, I'm going to salt my pasta water. I'm going to do about that much salt. This is when you season your pasta. If you're not a pasta expert like this partially Italian gal, this is the only chance you're going to get to season your pasta. So do it now. And put that back. So we've got our butter melting. I like to use for this a spatula, a rubber spatula. The reason I like to do that is because it gives me a little bit more control over the tomato paste. Tomato paste is one of our ingredients. So we're going to let that melt, and I'm going to pause this for a minute, but we'll come right back. It's going to be timeless for you guys. You're not even going to notice that I'm gone. Surprise. So while I was gone, the butter is melting, and I added our pasta to the water, and I set the timer for a couple of minutes less than what the cook time is. Why do we do this? Because we are going to cook the pasta. We're going to finish it in the pan. So with the sauce. And the reason we do that is so the pasta can absorb some of the sauce. So let's close that. It's just my dishes. I tell you guys all the time, like Greg and I are like normal people. We don't live fussy or anything like that. So what I've got here for, it's going to be like 2 to 3 boxes of penne. I've got 2 very large shallots, an entire stick of butter. If you're going to make this at home, you can use 1 shallot and like 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter. I also typically, when I make this at home for the kids, I'm at home right now, but when I make this for the kids and Greg, I use Irish butter. I use Kerrygold Irish butter because it just tastes amazing. And it is the best butter. That's like a table butter for us. But if you have a recipe that only has a few ingredients, there's no point in not using a really good ingredient. So we've got 9 minutes on the timer with our pasta cooking. Remember, salt your water before you put the pasta in. So we're going to give the pasta a little stir, make sure it's not sticking. And here is one of the most important things that you need for this is your giant ladle. So, and I use a metal one. As the pasta is cooking, we're going to use that water to build the sauce. So it's nice starchy water. You can't just use regular water, and you can't use all kinds of other things. So use the starchy water. Make use of it. I have even drained off the starchy water and saved some of it in the refrigerator if I know I'm going to use it the next day, or if I know I'm going to make like chicken franchise, I'll save a little bit of that. I also save bacon fat. You should strain that and save it, but that's a story for another day. So we're going to wait until we're going to cook our shallots in this soup of butter until they are just softened. You don't want them to blacken because they're gonna taste weird. Again, this is not a cooking show. I know these are terrible angles, guys. Terrible angles for cooking. I hope you can appreciate what I'm doing. So stirring. We're gonna give this a couple more minutes to cook, and we'll do that magic time travel in just a second. Time travel right over and move. We actually traveled. So I wanted to give you a better view of how this cooks up. So we have, this is a giant can of contadina tomato paste. It is 18 ounces. The regular can, I think, is 6. So I like to scrape it out with a knife like this. And sometimes you can get a real good, if you just kind of scrape around the outside, you can get a really good air pocket and it'll all just like slide out magically. That did not happen this time. The gods are not with me. So I have this super cool tool from Tavolo. None of these things are sponsored. But this is a jar scraper. My mom gave it to me and I was like, what do I need that for? Like, I can just scrape with a spoon. I can just scrape with a knife. Sure enough, this thing is amazing. One side stiff, one side soft. So you can use that, get rid of those things. And this is what I wanted you to see. So we have to kind of smear. We have to smear and incorporate the shallots into the tomato paste. And what I do, because we want that tomato paste to cook, that kind of gets the bitterness out, and this infuses it with the butter, makes it a lot silkier, and it stops our shallots from burning. Now, don't be fooled because your shallots can burn in this. So you want to watch your heat. And remember, I am making a huge batch. So this is for a bunch of kids. It is not for one family. So if you're going to make this, 1 shallot, 3-4 tablespoons of butter, and 1 itty bitty can of tomato paste, regular size can of tomato paste. Oh, I'm just realizing my sound's going to be terrible on this because we're recording it. I don't know if I can. Probably should have just videotaped the pan, recorded the pan, and then did a voiceover. But so what I do, you see what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of smoothing it out all over the pan and letting it cook. You can let it sit for a second or two. I just kind of sit there and cook, cook, cook. You can see there's a lot of steam and everything coming off this. I don't know if that's showing up, if it's reading properly on the camera. And just for fun, I'm going to stir my pasta over here that has 2 minutes left. It was sticking a little. And let's give these guys a flip. Flattening it out. Flattening it out. And my pasta is about to be done. Flattening it out. And this is my secret ingredient. Red pepper, and a lot of it. I cook for the family. I use about that much. I don't do a lot of measuring when I'm cooking. I don't. I know that sounds terrible as I'm giving you a recipe. So it's maybe a teaspoon. Test it out a few times. See what suits you. See what works for you. So me, that was like a big helping of red pepper. This is just about done. I'm going to hit that timer, turn this off, give the pasta a little stir. It's okay over there for a minute or two. We'll just let this cook a little bit more. It's going to sizzle a little, and you may even get some fond on the pan. You see that? A little bit of fond. That's just where it sticks to the pan just a little bit, okay? Not the worst thing in the world. You could scrape it up. Again, that's one of the reasons why I like to use the rubber spatula, because you can give it a scrape. There's a hard edge and a soft edge on your spatula. That's what my cooking teacher, Mrs. Stelevich, used to say, the spatula. They still say it all the time. And I saw people are connected with her on Facebook. I'd love to reconnect with her and tell her she changed my life. I love cooking. I love laundry. One of the things she told us, because we had to do laundry in home ec, she would say, shake out your laundry before you put it in the dryer because it'll save the motor in your dryer. My golly, she's right. So, all right, we're just about cooked here, guys. Smell it. You'll smell that red pepper coming up. And now here's what makes it vodka sauce. Is I have about 3/4 of a cup vodka. We're going to put that in and deglaze the pan. Now, the vodka sauce, the reason why we do vodka is because it does change the flavor profile. It's a very subtle flavor, and you do want to cook it off. It's not like we're going to sit there and, be like, ooh, this is like having a martini. You want it to cook off. So you see it made it nice and loose. Made that tomato a little bit looser than it was. Tomato paste, it should be a bit thicky when you put it in a pan. It's great for giving body, and that's what it does for this sauce for me anyway. So now this is the tricky part. Okay, we're going to spread that out. Spread it out in the pan. And just give it a second or two. I want it to really have the vodka come up. If you're still smelling fumes, like when you bring it on over, you shouldn't smell the fumes of vodka anymore. You want that to go away. That's when you know it's cooked out. And I see it's coming up. This is a lot that I'm cooking here. So taking a little bit longer than what I would do just for my family of 4. But this is a regular rotation in my house. It's Angus's favorite meal. He cannot eat penne vodka unless it's mine. He tries it and he always makes a face. And now that I'm on the Wegovy shot, I don't think I can have this at all. So be very careful about what I'm eating. But the band kids that I'm about to be feeding, they're burning like 3,000 calories an hour. It's very, very hard work. Actually, the drum corps, it's my understanding they burn about 3,000 calories an hour. So remember I talked about that starchy pasta water? We're going to fetch some right now. We're going to get some. Do a whole ladle. This ladle is like a cup and a half. We're going to put it right in there. And if you've ever made risotto, you know, one of the annoying things is you have to wait until the broth or the sauce cooks into it just a little bit more. Some people use, you know, wine and water mix in the risotto, and you got to wait until it cooks down. You can see it looks very, very different, though. At least I hope you can see. It may just look red to you guys, but trust me, when you make this, this is going to really loosen it up. Really, really loosen it up. We're going to do another big helping of water, and I think I've got a noodle in there too. And we're going to add, you can add about a 1/4 cup of cheese if you're doing it just for your family. And the pasta water, I don't take measurements of that either. I just kind of feel out the sauce. If you want it thinner, yeah, some more. If you need more sauce, you can add more and then add more cheese as well. As long as we're building that base with the butter. And I'm just going to turn down my heat. A little too quick there to cook. But this is going to melt that cheese. Oh, there's that one little noodle. Let's get that one little noodle out of there. Things happen. The noodle jumped out of the pot. He hitched a ride on my magical ladle. We're just going to take a little bit more, loosen that up a little bit. We're going to keep going. There's going to be a lot of pasta water in this. A lot. How many kids am I feeding? It's like over 40 kids. And I think some of the adults eat too. I think some of the techs eat. And the band director, of course, we got to feed her. So you want to add that Parmesan cheese in and let the pasta water melt it. So adding cheese in on heat, sometimes you can, the sauce will seize. If you keep the heat low and you keep adding the water, your sauce will not seize. I promise you. Go slow. Go slow. Look at that. Nice, 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 nice. So we're going to get a little bit more pasta water. And it's okay if you make extra because you can jar it. I usually have a jar of this somewhere. I don't preserve it. It does not keep in my house. My people eat things very quickly here. So there we go. There we go. That looks beautiful. Can you see that, guys? Can you see it? Give that a little bit more heat now. And we're going to time travel again. So hang on. All right, kids. We're putting like another, for you at home, do like another 1/4 cup. I'm doing about a 1/2 cup here. I'm using a lot of cheese today. So this is just about done, this sauce. And while I was time traveling, I dumped out my pasta and I set another pot on to boil because I have an hour to get all of this pasta over to the kids. And I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. I'm not going to be in trouble. I touched my face. I'm sorry. This is not hygienic. So here we go. I got all my cheese melted. All my cheese is melted. And I'm only putting that on. You don't have to bake yours. I'm putting that on because I have to keep these warm in the oven. And we're going to deliver them. So thank God it's right up the street. So we've got cheese, we've got pasta water, we've got shallots and red pepper and all kinds of butter and good stuff. Now, vodka sauce is a pink sauce. It should be pink. Right now, it's very red. It looks like it's reading very red. So heavy whipping cream. Fun fact about this for my British friends, I thought that I could make clotted cream out of this because clotted cream is exceptionally expensive here in the United States. But because of this little ultra pasteurized, we cannot. It will not clot when we bake it in the oven. So for these kids, I am putting in a lot of cream because we got to make it turn pink. We got to make it turn pink. And I did reserve this pasta water just in case I need it. Just in case I need it. If I need it to thin. So we want this turning nice and pink. Super pink. That's a nice pink color. That's a nice pink color. My ears ringing. There is our pink pasta sauce, guys. So if you were at home, you would take your pasta, dump it from your colander into your sauce, and you would let it cook a little. Because I have to put it in the oven, I am not going to be doing that. I am going to take my sauce and transfer it to the pan. I'm going to make another round of pasta, and then I'm going to stick it in the oven with a lid on it so it doesn't shrink up too much. But most of this sauce is going to go in there. Most of it. Some of it's going to get jarred here. And then I'm going to go on and make some Alfredo sauce. We're going to let that just kind of do its thing for a second. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to do more intentional cooking shows for you. So perhaps we will do that. I did want to I wanted to redo my cabinets before we do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will drop this I'm going to watch it first. And I think I'll drop it for Tuesday. So hopefully you'll get to see the Alfredo too. We'll see. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.